I want to talk a little bit about kind of how we view testing, the evolution of it, as well as kind of where it's going in general. Previously, as you think about it, most of the time functional testing was just that. It was focused on the functional side of things, and it was really understanding how the web UI was something that needed to meet the needs of the customers. But that's completely changed. The world has changed not only because of the pandemic that we're suffering, but really everything going on. People are moving faster. They're trying to make decisions faster, and they're on the go constantly. So really, what that means is the web is still important, but really the app, the mobile side of things, is rapidly becoming the center of most of our worlds. I don't know about you, but almost every single day I wake up, my phone is my alarm clock, and of course the first thing I do when I wake up is, well, after I check Facebook, but then what I do is check my email, my Slack messages, and make sure we respond to those types of things. From a healthcare point of view, since that's really what we're focusing in on, just as a quick example, my medical provider is Stanford University out here in California, and I have a mobile app as well with them where I can converse directly with my doctor. And imagine my surprise when not only was I able to send the message, but I actually got a response back from my doctor themselves, as opposed to a nurse or even just somebody trying to schedule an appointment. I could actually converse directly with them. That's been in place for quite some time, but now with COVID around, it makes it even better, so that we don't have to take that risk in terms of interacting or exposing ourselves to things that we don't want to have happen in that way. And it's because I'm confident that he'll respond, and that the system is there, that I continue to use that, and I use that both for myself as well as my family. And that level of confidence really is what helps me feel safe when I'm talking to him or thinking about my own health. And really what that's talking about is the digital experience that's provided through that app itself. You have to be thinking about, when you're creating that app, the people that you're creating it for, the users themselves, they want to have the absolute best possible experience they can have. They want to know for a fact that when they log in, that their data is secure, that the types of things that they want to do is functional, and that it's fast, and that it looks right. There's no confusion as to, wait, do I click this button, or do I tap that button, or do I have to swipe? It's all very, very clear, and it's really very approachable from a user point of view. It's that best possible experience. But conversely as well, you can't just ignore the website, so you have to be thoughtful around how that works too. So a lot of times what happens is I'll start in one section, on the mobile app, but when I get home, maybe I have to look into something else, and I'll jump over to the website. And I need to know that the experience that I have there is just as good as I might see on the mobile site itself. And really what that means is that system, much like I think your own that you're thinking about, is delivering that digital confidence. It's been constructed in a way where the confidence that I have in that app and that experience that I have was first generated by the fact that the people that created that app want to ensure that they themselves have the confidence that they need to provide the app for their end users. They want to have absolutely zero doubt that there are any issues at all with the software that they're creating and making that available for their end users. So really what that digital confidence comes down to is kind of both sides of that coin. As you're creating the software, you want to have the absolute clarity of confidence that there's the best possible experience that's provided to your users. And you also build the confidence of your users themselves, that they want to come back and keep using your tool from that point of view. So why is this so important? Well, there's a whole bunch of studies that have been done by various different consulting firms. These are just 3 examples of them real quick. And I think that they're really telling about the way people think about software and how they interact, and really how they think about what they're trying to get out of that software. So this first one from McKinsey, what they're saying is that the study has proven that 25% of customers will flat out leave. They'll never come back to that application again if they've had just one bad experience. So imagine for a second that you've downloaded an app, you want to talk to somebody like your doctor or whoever it might be, and you open the app up and it crashes. How many times are you going to try that again? Probably once, maybe, but not much more than that. If it doesn't work, you're just going to abandon it. I know I'm like that. I certainly know that my kids are like that as well. Harvard Business Review, what they're saying there is, conversely, if you think about it less in terms of abandoning the app, but thinking about it more in the terms of what really that app is designed to do, both in terms of getting people, in this case, maybe their healthcare, but also possibly looking at it from a point of view of the revenue stream that comes with it. People are less likely to spend money through the app if they've had the bad experience. And again, same kind of thing. Think about, I'm sure a lot of you have used Amazon before. If you go into Amazon on the mobile app, it's pretty good. You know, I can find what I need to find. I'm pretty confident that I'm going to get the information I need. I have the right reviews that are there. That's almost a gold standard that's out there, and we want to make sure that any app that we create has that kind of an experience, that kind of trust that's innate to the app itself, that makes me want to come back and do that again. And that's what we're talking about here, is that people will actually invest more or spend more on an app that has a better experience than those that have a poor experience. And then finally, this last one is kind of the converse of that as well, where people will not only abandon the app, they'll abandon the brand. They will just stop trusting you altogether, because that first experience, or that digital experience you're talking about, is so critical to their trust in you that even if you're never actually talking to them directly, that level of experience that you have with them is so impactful that they might actually just completely abandon the brand itself. So all of this ultimately means that you need to be thoughtful around the types of things that you're creating through software, the types of experience that you have, and the types of services that you're creating. And really, ultimately, that is what SaaS is all about. We are trying to help you create a world of digital confidence. We want to make sure that you have the right experience, the right insight, the right data for you to be able to not only create the software that you have, build it directly into your CI/CD pipeline so that you have the right kind of stopgaps, so that you can ensure that you don't expose your users to something that that might turn into a negative experience, and correct it before that ever actually happens. That's what digital confidence is really all about. So how do we do that? Really, what we're focusing in on is we have a series of pillars that we've built our company and our software on itself. Probably one of the most important ones is that we're committed to open source. We want to make sure that people that are out there that are creating software have the best possible tools that they have. And a lot of times that comes out of the open source environment. So having things like Selenium and Appium, those are the two of the core pillars that we have built into our software itself that we support, that allows those people to be able to make use of what's already been done and build off of that from an open source perspective. I mentioned Nikolai before. He's one of our automation experts that can come in and help you take a look at your overall strategy and ensure that you have the right things in place for that. And ultimately really make sure that the types of practices that you have in place are getting you the outcomes that you want to have. The data certainly is important. Customer first culture, I mean, come on, that's why we're all here. We really care about all of you to make sure that you have the best possible tools available. And if you have questions on that, we welcome that. We want to talk to you to make sure that we understand what's going on in your world and make changes if it's appropriate, where we can actually help you further. But probably really one of the best possible things that we have is that user community. And that's all of you. It's people like Doug, people like Adam that are here as well, where we can ensure that not only are the users talking to each other, but we're learning from each other. And we have the opportunity to make sure that what is working in certain places can be extended out, and really make sure that we are all working toward that world of digital confidence as a collaborative environment, where it's most possible and most beneficial for everyone. So the way that all of that is done ultimately is we start out with a series of tools that are available, and some of you might be familiar with most of these already. So we have headless browsers for those quick, easy hits to be able to see what's going on with your code. And then likewise, we also have those desktop browsers and the various different OS combinations that factor into that. As I mentioned in the beginning, we also have a mobile side of things. So we have both real private devices, we have real public devices if you want to get a better spread of devices that you want to test against. And we have a series of emulators and simulators that can go against that to really get you the best possible scale, as well at the exact same time, the best possible test against a real device to really show you what your users are going to experience. All of those things together ultimately are what the foundation of the tool is built on. And then through that, we have a series of tools that help you not only run those tests, but gain insight from them. Looking at the videos and the various different tools that come along with that, help you debug those tools and really make sure that you have the right understanding of what those results look like. Each of those then are constructed in a way to provide you a visibility into the health of your application from a functional, a performant, as well as a visual point of view. So again, it should, the app that you create, that digital confidence we're talking about, you want to know that it functions, that it performs, it looks, it behaves, it does everything exactly as you intend it to, so that your users have that utmost confidence in your brand and your ability to provide that tool that's available. And of course, all of that is built around our enterprise security and support as well, so that the data is protected, but also the various different types of questions are answered as fast as possible. And again, we have the expertise that can help you there as well. Okay, so all of that ultimately is really the Sauce Labs continuous testing cloud that we've created from there. And that is how we want to think about digital confidence and providing you the right kind of approach from that standpoint. I believe from there now, I think the best thing to do is to have Alyssa take over from this point. I want to double check one quick thing. I saw a, my bad, excuse me. I had a bit more slide. My apologies. Okay, so let me just build these slides out real quick. So the idea behind that tool set then is to be thoughtful around why we care about it, why those types of innovations are being done inside of the application itself. And as the slide talks about, there's those three core pillars of why the test industry is moving in the way that it is. Absolutely, the pandemic is a piece of it. It is disrupting everything that we do and taking everything we've taken for granted out of its norm, and we have to think about things in different ways. Mobile, of course, becomes much more important, even more than it has been in the past. But really just the way that we interact with people and their reliance on those technologies becomes that much higher and that much more important. Along with that then is that concept that speed is of the essence. We have to get the applications out into production as fast as possible. That includes both the major releases, but also really those day-to-day releases that we're doing, where it's incremental improvements, but it's a continuous improvement going forward from there. That's really the promise of CI/CD, that we want to get the app as perfect as possible out as fast as possible. And then ultimately along with that is recognizing that test isn't just a point in time anymore. It's happening throughout the overall software development lifecycle, where you're looking at it from a point of view of, as you're designing your app, you want to be thoughtful of the test as you're building it. Certainly as you're ready to publish it and push it out to production, but also at the exact same time when it's in production, thinking about how it's performing and making course corrections from there as well. So test really has gone beyond that point in time where it's that stopgap, but it really has become a continuous process and an element of that software cycle, so that we have the right kind of visibility and insight throughout the app's lifecycle from there.